Good day to you, brothers and sisters. Still alive, dwelling in the garden, Saigon. It's now. They call me Rodney Josephson. The Stickman Show. So today's topic 369 and E equals MC squared. What's the truth? So that's our episode for today. And please hang in there and invest in the next 10 to 15 minutes. I don't know how long I'm going to talk, but maybe 15 minutes or so. It will help to expand your consciousness and get a better idea of how maybe things work. I don't know. I just think it. This is what I was told. I don't know. I don't know anything. But let's relax. Look at the garden. I think that's probably more important. Really, I think probably peaceful. I get the bitter cucumber things growing over there, and yeah, it's all good. Yeah, the garden, paradise in Saigon. Well, it's paradise here. This is paradise, right? Okay, let's start. So let's see. Good old Einstein. And good old Tesla. Not Elon Musk. Einstein. So he says energy equals mass squared. Okay. Now, so that's the energy, but let's look at it in in the true sense of the word. So for this to work or that, there would have to be the mind or consciousness. If there's no mind or consciousness, we wouldn't even be having this video. So that's where we're starting here. So mind. No, sorry. Emotion. Emotion is energy. So it's the mind, or it's the being experiencing an emotion, an energy. Maybe you call it expansion or growth. Think of it that way. I mean, when you get emotionally excited, the energy is building up, so it's like growing, expanding, isn't it? So the word emote is to send out energy, ions, emotion. So I'm getting emotionally involved in something. And that's, of course, through your mind and perhaps consciousness. So that's energy. Again, if you had no mind or consciousness, it wouldn't work. It would just be, electricity just shooting around, meaningless. So that's the E. Now Einstein, he's just talking vague, external ideas, concepts, theories. Energy equals mass squared. Okay, well, where's the energy coming from, and who's thinking about the energy? Again, where is the starting point? Where does it come from? Okay. Mind. The mind is, all the functions, the cognitive functions of the mind. So-called cognitive functions. If you didn't have a mind, you wouldn't have any cognitive functions, would you? I mean, I don't even know what to say. Now, you can be having functions. You're doing something, you're breathing, but those things run, automatically in most cases. You can take over your breathing or stop breathing. You force that, but it's harder to do with your heart and other things. But anyway, those are like the functions. Your general functions with your so-called mind, which you may or may not know is working or running or operating. Consciousness. So this is awareness. So I'm aware that I am conscious, that I am doing something. Again, all is mind in that sense. I mean, if I had no mind or consciousness, nothing would exist. It would be a blank slate. We wouldn't be here. That's not the case. So those are the EMC. Now squared, expansion. Okay, so this energy that is being focused, or the energy of thinking or creating something, is making it expand. So if I had an idea to build a house or something, it has to start off with the initial thought, imaginative thought, and then from paper or whatever, my mind, it then goes into formation, into a so-called physical structure or something, or process, or beam of energy. Because the mind and consciousness is creating something, and that has to form some kind of an object or some kind of a process or an action from it. Action. So it's moving, it's creating, it's expanding itself from the initial nothingness. Okay, so I have here, like a rhythm or vibe. Everything is energy. It's energy, right? So let's follow this line over this way. Now Tesla, it's all about 369, 369. Okay, well, what happens before the 3 and what happens after the 9? Because the number system starts at 1 and it goes from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, doesn't it? And then after 9, what does it do? Well, it has to go back to 1 because that's the number system. Now, of course, 0 is another issue, and we're going to get into the so-called 0. However, this rhythm, whatever it may be, is continuous until the moment of a new rhythm or flow or structure or what have you. So that's Tesla's expansion of energy idea, or again, consciousness, mind. But I never heard him talking about starting off at 1. But it must be 1 because it has to start from somewhere. It doesn't start at 3. Or maybe it does. I don't know. So I've done other videos on this. Breathing. Expand, contract, expand, contract, expand, contract, and so on. I'm breathing all day long. Sometimes I know it and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm meditating so I know what I'm doing and sometimes I don't. However, it goes on and until it doesn't. It's a representation of creation, expansion and contraction. Expand, contract, expand, contract, which means formation and dissolution. Form the ions. This is all metaphors. Form the ions and dissolute the ions. Form the behavior, dissolute the behavior. Form the thought, dissolute or remove the thought, or reorganize it. Doesn't mean delete anything. It just means reorganize the being, reorganize the idea, reorganize the emotion, and so that it's more in balance. The yin-yang balance. It's a continuous process on everything. If there was no movement, if there was no so-called expansion and contraction, it would be nothingness, zero. So that's coming into the monad. This is the all and the nothing, but both must coexist as the one. Without the nothing, there wouldn't be any something, and without something, there wouldn't be nothing. They both coexist as one in my knowing and philosophy. So all is one and one is all. Seek within, for the world is without. So the question is, in harmony or separation, the so-called expansion. So this is the all, the nothing, and so from the nothingness it expands into a so-called imaginative thought or a concept or creation of something. Is that in harmony, or is it separation, division? It could be either. Again, the so-called oneness is everything is connected. However, if the mind or the being that's thinking all this stuff up avoids or forgets to consider the all, that means the connectedness of the oneness to everything, and everything is connected to everything else in one form or another. If they forget that, then there's division in the being or the mind that is in the creative mood to do something. And so, again, is it in harmony with everything, or is it in the separation? Harmonize the ions, the oneness, or a separation of the energy of the oneness into separate things, and I'm not connected to that. So that is the so-called balancing. What I've been told. It's what the Stickman told me to say. So these are connected. That's all. So the question is, where do they start and end? Well, it starts right here and it ends right there. And everyone is a part of this. Everyone has the exact same power, creative, thought, energy. Everyone has the same thing, because it's just an element. You're an element, or I'm an element, or a fractal of the whole. And so we all inherently have this, and we all do this too, all the time, in or out of our awareness or consciousness of that happening. But it's true. I'm breathing until I don't breathe anymore. But no one dies. It's just a change of place, change of existence, change of energy. So that's what I'm filling in what Einstein and Tesla generally don't discuss. Because it's all in the media. It's just E equals MC squared, and most people have no idea what that means. 369. Most people have no idea what that means. In the whole basis of so-called creation. No, I mean they just see the 369 expansion, Tesla energy. Okay, yeah, I mean that's what it is. But it is what it is. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Time will tell, but there is no time. There is only now. So I think I kind of covered the topic. You need to think outside the box and avoid the narrative that they push in the media, what they teach you in school, um, uh, what they tell you in science class, all these doctors, maybe they're fake titles. I'm a doctor. I'm saying this is physics, blah, blah, blah. And they're saying the 4 billion people are going to die today, this year. I mean, what kind of negative nonsense do they push? No, I think 20 billion people are going to expand, ever expanding. No one dies. Remember, no one dies. But the ignorant man gets scared and fearful. So anyway, the narratives that get pushed in the media are making people, freak out. I'm here to tell you that you don't die. You are forever expanding and wonderful divine being. So seek within, for the world is without. Everything is good. Everything is getting better. There is heaven on earth. There is the Garden of Eden. Look right there. It's all here. It's all in the mind. And, energy equals mass squared. So the more I want to dwell in the garden, the more the plants are expanding. My caretaker comes in and adds more plants because it's just the way it is. Nothing like plants and balance and grounding. So rest assured, you live forever in an expansiveness of so-called creative powers and everything. You just gotta keep the faith, hope, faith. Dwell in the good, regardless of what's going on the outside, regardless of whatever was happening right now, whatever you've done in the past. Forget it. Right now is the now. It's the eternal now. So live from the now and develop that idea that everything is good. There's nothing to fear. Because you are God. You are the I am. I'm the best ever. So I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. Alive, dwelling in the garden, Saigon. It's now. Ciao.